been 15 years since the fall. The city is a corpse, and we are the worms. We burrow in it, fighting for every useful piece of land to preserve ourselves from the terrors of the night and the horrors of the day.
I know not who can hear my voice. I shall therefore speak a word unto hear. Anyone who dares to steal food will be hanged, and their bodies will be exposed.
Every day we rise from dust to choose between bad and worse.
Get him! You're dead now!
And these choices we take to survive will create the world to come. You know the drill. Get to the nearest safe house and wait until dawn. Good night, and good luck.
Dying Light 2 features a functioning ecosystem that reacts on multiple levels to the things you do and the choices you make. In the example we're about to show you, our protagonist undertakes a mission for the Peacekeepers, one of the many factions active in the city. They want you to negotiate with two survivors who are controlling and hoarding a water supply.
Are you going to insult us with another final offer?
Let's say you choose to carry out the Peacekeepers' orders, one way or another.
Stay back!
After this, you'll start seeing a significant change in the city, as access to the water supply has allowed the Peacekeepers to bring stability and develop the area. There's even running water for the people at street level. And that raises their morale and allows you to replenish your energy on the go. But there's a cost to this.
I know not who can hear my voice.
The PKs have a rigid approach to law and order.
Anyone who dares to...
So while the streets may be safer, it's only safe for those who side with them. So if you get on their bad side... Now let's return to that moment of choice. And instead of killing them, you choose to team up with this group to supply water in the black market. As you will see, this creates a very different set of consequences for the city. With water being a precious currency, it brings you access to new resources and trade. But this in turn attracts the worst type of people to the area. And this is just a single decision, one out of hundreds you'll have to make. But it allows you to carve out your own world, your own city from the apocalypse. Each player's game experience will be unique. And by the way, this is just what happens in the day. At night, well, things tend to get a lot darker.
So many questions. Like I asked Twitter, I was like, hey guys, what do you guys want to know? And I just got bombarded. And I just want to let you guys know right out of the gate, there's a lot of stuff that is going to be surprise. Okay? It's a lot of stuff that we can't touch on, but one of my favorite things in the game is the weapon system, the weapon crafting and stuff. Is there, like, I'm sure there's going to be, that's going to be in the game, but can you tell us if there's going to be like some news things? Or?
Well, there'll be a lot of new weapons
Okay.
in the game. For sure, the weapon crafting will be a bit reworked because we changed the combat in Dying Light 2 into the way it's more tactical, the way it's more giving you more satisfaction in certain bits, certain moments. So the weapon crafting fills the gap, and it creates a lot of emergent situations that create those satisfaction moments. Yeah, it will be more complicated and more complex, so I guarantee you won't be disappointed.
Very cool, very cool. One of the things that I really like about, or I like about video games in general, is the difficulty. In the beginning, when I first started the first game, it was just run. Run, run, run. Is that, can you speak to like the gameplay arc with this? Because it seems like he might start out like a badass, but am I wrong about that?
I can't tell you too much about that.
Okay.
The thing is that Aiden Caldwell is entering the city at the beginning of the game, almost at the beginning of the game. So
Okay.
he's not from the very beginning in the city, and he's not infected from the very beginning. So it probably covers some of the answers.
Okay, okay. Like I said, totally fine if you can't say stuff, but I have to ask these questions.
Yeah.
The hard-hitting, journalistic questions. Co-op, question mark?
There will be co-op. So
Okay.
you can play entire campaign, entire story from the beginning till the very end with your friends. It's up to 4-player co-op like in the first game. Some of the new elements will be introduced very soon about the co-op and about the multiplayer elements of the game, but right now it's confirmation that the co-op is there.
Can I ask a couple questions about you know, when you dropped a lot of the information around this sort of the city that is living, and based off of your decisions, then you know is it the peacekeepers like they could react differently to you or what is happening or saving a citizen, et cetera, et cetera. I'm curious if you can talk at all about how this new character Aiden now, and what arguably has to be an interesting thing within this world to be infected and keeping that a secret, et cetera. Is that also going to be playing into like some of the decisions and how people or different organizations might be reacting to me in the game?
Yeah, it plays a pretty big role. One of the big pushes with Dying Light 2 was to sort of like really focus on choice and consequences, and like, you know, working on like RPG games in the past, it's really easy to do that with like human interactions.
Right, right.
But what's really impressed me about Dying Light 2 is the sheer amount of environmental reactivity that may occur as a result of your actions in the game. And really, when I saw the first few examples of it, I'm like, Adrian, you got to be freaking kidding me. He's like, no, wait, watch this. It's really empowering for a player.
Yeah, I mean, that is exciting overall too, because it means that when Zeke plays and I play and we start talking about it, it's like, well, no, wait a second, that didn't happen. It's like, well, I made these decisions, and to me as a player, that is also interesting because I tend to be a good player on the side of like maybe chaotic good, but more good. And when you get put up with those even more difficult decisions and you don't know what effect that will have, like on the ripples on the world, that's super exciting to.
Yeah, one of the big goals is actually how the players sort of like discuss their experiences and how their gameplay has been different in each playthrough, and then share it online and talk with each other and share their experiences. That was also a big part of it.
Yeah. And when you talk, like you actually mentioned each playthrough, can you talk about like the replayability factor?
Yeah, you can finish the game without seeing 50% of the content even. So
really,
when you play again,
speedrunners, are you listening?
That's a challenge. So the cool thing is like when you're playing again, you know the consequences based on your previous choices. So now you can turn left, turn right, and play it differently, and the world will look different. So it's a super exciting motivation for playing this game again, especially if this is the action game, and a lot of choices have the tremendous influence into the game world. So the scale of the consequences is super high. Sometimes it's really like from movies, like disaster movies with 2012 or something like that.
Like apocalyptic
I like this.
choices.
I like the sound
So
of
if
this.
you play it differently, you're gonna see different things. So it's very much connected with Dying Light.
Will
DNA.
we as players know the weight as we're making some of these decisions, or?
Yeah, actually, the way the choices are framed, it's always fair to the player to let them know what the stakes are. But then
Sometimes,
we
I
put
guess,
yeah,
you
it
know?
kind of helps. But then we dump a crap load of pressure on the player at the moment when they make the decision. So you know what the stakes are. You've got limited time to decide, and there are pluses and minuses to each one. But we want players to be able to make those difficult decisions, and they'll also be see the results of those in the game world.
Awesome.
Yeah, but the thing is that we were working a lot on those choices to make sure that we won't lose the DNA of Dying Light 1. And it's for sure the action game. So this thinking aspect, what to pick, the A or B or C or D, it's not like in strategical game where you really need to think a lot. To think, oh, should I go left or should I go right? So it's much more like the action. So there's the time is there, like it limits you, but it's like you feel that you need to go A or B, and there's no point to go B for the player. So it's not like, you know, the strategical choice. Yeah. So we mostly focus on consequence rather than choice. Yeah.
Well, I'm super happy to hear you say that, because I've played a lot of like adventure games, action games, or whatever with a story, and it's always so frustrating when choices don't matter, you know. And I'm glad to hear you say like, shit will change if you make like these choices. I love that.
Dying Light 2, shit will change.
There you go.
You're welcome. Trademark. Pay me now. Pay me now. Check in the mail. Okay, cool. All right, so another really exciting aspect of playing the first one was the parkour. Can you tell us like any innovations, updates, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we doubled the move of the parkour moves, so that's the one thing. So it's much more fluid when you just exploring to the city. We introduced last year the.
Well, I'm sorry. When you say double the move, what do you mean by that? Like the speed
animations
or the...
when you interact with environment.
Okay.
And we introduced last year something called the parkour puzzles. So there are certain puzzles, you know, where you really need to look at your stamina and measure it, find the road, find the place that you want to rest.
I love that.
And there's a lot of those kind of things. And in the demo we've created for the show, we also introduced something like improving your avatar. So it's not only about skills that you can unlock for having new moves or be more efficient in moving. You also have some tools. Yeah. So you are upgrading your avatar. You have your tools on your body. You have a new grappling hook, which is really great. You can.
That was one of the questions. Like, ask them about the grappling hook.
Yeah, it's not just for moving through the city. It could be used in a combat in any different cases.
Hey, Devon.
Hi, Kuba.
First of all, congratulations for you and for the team, because we've all seen the trailer.
Thank you very much.
We are showing like so many things, and it's hard to choose from.
Yeah, I know. Like the trailer is a tease of a lot of things that we will keep talking in the upcoming weeks.
Let's start with the city. It's enormous. It's
yeah.
Big.
Yeah, it is.
How big it is?
I can say it's about 4 times as big as all of the maps from the first game combined. So it really is huge, even if you look at this. But I think it goes deeper, because the thing is that the city is not the same all over the place. The city is divided into 7 different regions. Of course, you will be able to travel through those regions seamlessly without any loading screens. But the thing about those regions is that they are really different. They bring new parkour moves, new enemies, new gameplay mechanics. So basically, each part of the city is different for you to play. So that's like really adds another dimension to it. Another thing is that compared to a lot of other games, if you see a wall, it's just a wall. In our game, it's not a wall, it's a space for you to play. So basically every inch, every centimeter of this map that we have created is for you to play. Every building is a building you can climb on. Every object is an object you can grab with your grappling hook. So again, this is another dimension to it. And also, you will be able to change the city, because I think that's the most important thing that we are bringing with Dying Light 2, is that you will make choices, and those choices have massive consequences that change a lot about the city. For example, you can uncover a completely new region, which is basically like a huge space which some other games could just like take part only in this place. You can destroy another part of the city, and you will lose all of the quests and all of the people that live there and everything that's there, but you can do it because that's your decision, because you have the power to actually change the world in Dying Light 2.
This is going to be a playground for the people, for the players. but you need to play carefully if you want to experience
exactly.
it all.
So that's our goal. When it comes to narrative, we want you to really listen to people, really to talk to people, to try to understand what's behind what they're talking, what's behind their motivations, what are their motivations. And only if you spend time in this world and really keep your ears open for everything, you will be able to make choices that make sense, that are informed choices. Each decision is an important decision. When you make it, make sure that you know what you're doing. When you play the game, you create the city as you want, or as a consequence of your decisions. And of course, your friends can make different decisions. So then you join their games in a co-op session, and you see different, and you play in a different playground, you play in a different city. So that's another benefit, another advantage of the system we have created for Dying Light 2.
That's massive. And when we are talking about the playground, and if like I'm thinking about the trailer, there are like some really sick parkour moves.
Thank you.
And I know the Dying Light bread and butter is like parkour and combat.
Yes.
So what have changed in this?
So I think the biggest goal for us was to actually connect those two pieces of Dying Light, because you could say in Dying Light, in the first Dying Light, you could focus on combat, you could focus on parkour, but there was rarely time when those two halves connected. In Dying Light 2, we want to introduce a lot of new moves that allow you to be mobile but also brutal. There's an example of that in the teaser where we are showing the ability of breaking your fall with a zombie. If you are making a run, parkour run, and suddenly you see the zombie, you really want to grab him and land on him when you break your fall.
What about the people living in the city, in every part? Because like there are like tons of people there.
Okay, so the big thing we are bringing with the trailer is the introduction of our protagonist, Aiden Caldwell. He's the guy that enters the city. He's a guy that's infected, so he is looking for a cure for his infection, and he realizes the city is divided by powerful groups that operate in it, and those guys fight with each other. Between them is a group of survivors, regular people who just want to see another day. And there's a scene in the trailer that I really like. It's set in a bar, in a tavern, and the tavern is called Fish Eye, and it's the central part of the city. It's basically the epicenter of all that space. And this is a place where the survivors from the city meet, mingle, enjoy themselves. And also this is a place where you will encounter most of those guys. And let me tell you, this is really a colorful bunch. When we are talking about gameplay, when we are talking about specifics in that regard, I think the big difference from Dying Light 1 is that we are creating a lot of human-based enemies, human enemies. Those are not zombies. They really think like humans. They try to outmaneuver you. They try to outsmart you. They try to use weapons or tools that can surprise you. So fighting with humans is really like very desperate struggle. And of course zombies. I know we are testing the patience of our community with not talking much about zombies. I know these guys, sorry for this, but we will start talking about them quite soon. And what I can tell you right now is that of course there are zombies aplenty. We are having a demo at E3 which we are showing to media where there are a lot of zombies. Actually there's one sequence where you see plenty of them. They fill the whole screen. And the thing about them is that you can expect all of the zombies, all of the infected you liked from the first game to make a comeback. And also we are introducing some of the new types. So it's not that far away, guys. We will start talking about it soon and expect a huge blowout which will explain everything, and I hope you'll like it.
That's a bold statement, and we're gonna execute it.
And I will stand by it.
That's cool. And thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Guys, thank you. It is really a pleasure that you are supporting us. It is really the power, the fuel that keeps us going. So thank you once again for this. Thanks.
Let's go kill some zombies.
Yeah, let's do this. Good night, good luck.
When my father saved my life, he told me never to forget who I am, where I come from. But in this place, nobody even wants to know my name. Getting attached is deadly. Because when darkness comes, I might be gone. this tore society apart, but I won't let it turn me into an enemy. Staying alive became the essence of our existence, yet life must be more than just survival. Every day, the disease tries to crush us and make us forget who we are, but I keep fighting. My name is Aiden, and I am infected.